is Gary Dolphin.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Big Ten basketball season. We're on the cusp of another year. The Big Ten is 125 years old this year. Born in 1896. Of course, the Big Ten is at the head of the pack in terms of a balance where academics and athletics are concerned. And we are the very best, we feel, and rightfully so. And in that conference are your Iowa Hawkeyes, and we're here tonight for our inaugural Fran McCaffery show. Hawk Talk with the head coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes. We'll be here each week from 7 until 8:30 with Coach McCaffery, taking your calls, your tweets, your Facebook posts. And as to where we are, we're in the Edgewater Bar and Grill in the beautiful Iowa River Landing, tucked inside the Hyatt Regency. And you know right where that is, and you're certainly invited to come on out and join us not only tonight, we've got room for you, but each and every week. Most of our shows will be early in the week. Some will be Wednesday because of the Hawks playing on a Monday or Tuesday. It's a little bit different than football. We're not all over the map, but we'll be bouncing around and give you plenty of lead notice as to each week what night the Hawk Talk program will be on. Most of the shows will air on Monday or Tuesday night. We might have a couple Wednesdays like tonight thrown in there because of Iowa's schedule. So we're glad you can join us here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. I'm Gary Dolphin, of course, joined by former Iowa Hawkeye and NBA star Bobby Hansen. Most importantly, my broadcast partner for the past 25 years for Iowa Hawkeye basketball. Bobby, we'd be really hard-pressed to find an ending as exciting as that one-point victory over Virginia on Monday night.
Yeah, just starting to calm down a little bit. My blood pressure was up pretty good there on the plane ride home, but yeah, really good ending for the Hawkeyes. And the good thing about it was they faced adversity, Gary, on the road, a hostile environment, and the kids responded. Joe Toussaint with the big shot, kind of an improvised shot, got it to drop off the glass. No timeout called by Tony Bennett. He had to retreat, play some defense, and shot was missed. Looked like an easy putback going back in there for Shedrick. And Patrick McCaffery from the offside out of nowhere when I watched the replay came and swatted that thing away cleanly right as the buzzer sounded. And the Hawks walk off 7-0 with a Big Ten victory there over Virginia.
What do you take from a win like that with a team that has all this youth and experience? Now they're 7-0. They're 6-7 games into the season, so it's not like this was their season opener. But what this must do for their confidence. I mean, they were a confident bunch going into Charlottesville, but coming out of that game, man, they've got to be sky high with confidence going to Purdue, and they'll need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I think we can go backwards even further than that. The first 6 games. All built confidence for Iowa, and they all had different challenges. You had physical teams. You had teams that wanted to run with you. You had teams that wanted to slow down, but it gave Coach Fran and his staff an opportunity to see some different combinations. Who's going to perform? They faced adversity in one of those games, and they fought back. So, yeah, confidence is a big thing in sports and basketball, and confidence is a big thing with this team because we got a lot of guys that didn't play a lot last year. You know, with what you lost with Luka Garza, Joe Wieskamp, and others, you know, guys got to step up. Now they're in bigger roles. The spotlight's a little bit brighter on them, and really like how they've gotten out of the gate, off to a great start. And again, you got to play sports. My old man used to tell me, you got to be confident. You got to walk out there on the court like you know you're the best out there, and you may not be, but you can't show any weakness. And this is a confident basketball team, no doubt.
And the McCaffery boys might be at the head of the pack in terms of confidence, in terms of leadership. Connor, the elder statesman, Patrick, just a second-year player of any degree in terms of minutes. But you know, they're coaches' sons. Margaret was a great athlete at Notre Dame, great player at Notre Dame. Fran was an outstanding college basketball player. So you can see them carrying that panache, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only those two guys, but the Murray guys. Philip Rabracha, you know, he's a guy that come to us from North Dakota, was a star at North Dakota. So he's the heart and soul of this team, I think. He plays with tremendous amount of confidence. And Jordan Bohannon's never going to back down from anything. He is not going to lack any confidence. And Joe Toussaint, what he did at the final of that game, that takes a lot of courage, a lot of guts to have the courage to take that shot, number one, with the game on the line, and then to make it and knock it down. So love the effort off the bench. Bench is really evolving. Aaron Eulis, Tony Perkins, Peyton Sanford, Chris Murray has come into his own, our second leading scorer. Josh Agundale got some minutes in there. Ash and Mulvey play a little bit. But, yeah, this is a confident bunch, Gary. And it was fun on that flight back. It was a long flight. Had a little bit of a headwind. Heading back to Cedar Rapids there. It took a little bit longer than normal, but kids were having a good time playing cards, messing around with each other. And you could just see their confidence and trust in each other. That's the other thing. And on top of confidence, you've got to trust each other when you play sports.
As we approach the first third of the season, hard to believe, but a little more than 30-game schedule, Joe Toussaint, to me, has been the key. You knew without a true point guard, or at least I don't know what true means, but a point guard that Bohannon has played the point guard, but they want him at that off guard, and I think that's made a huge difference. I mean, just look at it, and that's beyond his performance the other night, beyond his shooting touch the other night. But Toussaint is really playing under control. Bobby, that banker he made leaning around a double team the other night from 15 feet, curled it in. I mean, that's who he is. He's been making big play after big play like that all season long.
Joe T, taking care of the basketball too, Gary, and still pushing it, still wanting to play fast, get the ball down the court, but he's doing it, as you mentioned, under control. I don't think he had a turnover against Virginia there. They didn't give him an assist. I don't believe that. I think we need to look back at the film. And, he was passing the ball to Bohannon when he was making those shots in the first half. But
maybe that's not an assist in the ACC. Huh?
Yeah.
It is in the Big Ten.
Yeah, absolutely. But only 4 turnovers as a team for the Hawkeyes. 2 of those by Keegan. So, yeah, that was just an outstanding effort. What you see out of Joe Toussaint is the work that he's put in the offseason. I could tell it when the first time I went to Carver this year, and he's out there early. Him and Patrick are roommates, and those guys are out there at opposite ends of the court working on their game, and I noticed a different-looking shot, a jump shot from Joe Toussaint with a little bit better arc, a little bit higher arcing shot, and he was making them, and he has in the game too. So the entire team is just really playing well, shooting over 50% from the field, almost 40% from 3, and over 80% from the free throw line as a team. That's outstanding.
You were getting ready to talk to Coach McCaffery in the locker room the other night when we had Joe on as our star of the game, and that is a pronounced, a bold print change in his jump shot. That thing is high arcing, almost like a lob up there. And I asked him, okay, who did you talk to? Who taught you that shot in the offseason? He said, hey, man, I just looked at 1,000 YouTube videos.
There you go.
What isn't on YouTube? We're on YouTube tonight. But can you? I mean, you talk about an honest, succinct answer. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on how to arc that kind of shot. I mean, they're teardrops. He drops them right down through, hardly ripples the net. What a great kid. I mean, what a tough kid, but what a kid who wants to learn, wants to get better, minute by minute, practice by practice, game by game.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I got to look back and see a guy like Luka Garza and how hard he worked over the past, 4 years and putting in that extra time. And that had to rub off on these young guys. And that if you want to get better, we're not 5-star athletes, basketball players we get here, but you got to improve. You got to put the time in the gym. And we'll let Coach McCaffery answer that question. But I see Joe Toussaint's improvement as a byproduct of hours and hours in the gym and the practice gym that they have access to now 24 hours over there at Carver Hawkeye Arena.
Speaking of a guy who's put in the work, Jordan Bohannon, you had a great line on him the other night. The tougher the game, the more difficult the game, the better Bohannon is. He is a big game player, and he had a season-high 20 points, equaled his season best with 6 threes. He sank his first 4 looks, and that really put Virginia on its collective heels.
A good defensive guard backcourt that they have on that Cavalier basketball team, too. I knew they were going to be hounding him and Joe out there, the kid Kihei Clark and Reese Beekman, Armand Franklin. We've seen him in his days at Indiana. So they knew who Jordan Bohannon was, but he was unstoppable in the first half. He just kept going back a little bit further, and it was nice when they went through the net, Gary, and it silenced the Virginia crowd there. It was a hostile crowd on the road, and all you could hear was the great Hawkeye fans that were behind the bench and behind us there cheering for the Hawkeyes. But Jordan Bohannon, he's going to do that all year long. That's why he has come back. That's why Fran invited him back to in his 6th year to be that 2-guard, to be that shooter. And what I tell people is that what you're going to get out of Jordan Bohannon. You're going to get made free throws all game long, and especially down the stretch. And you're going to get big-time jump shots made and big-time jump shots made in important times. And he's certainly done that to this point.
Just to give our listening audience and our fans here tonight, Hawk fans, how difficult it is to win at John Paul Jones Arena. It's been open for almost 16 years now. Virginia is 208-47 in that building. 82% winning percentage, including 3-1 this season. The Hawkeyes have now won back-to-back games at John Paul Jones Arena. You might remember, if you're old enough, Iowa went in there and ambushed them in the quarterfinals of the NIT back in 2013. And that was the game that got them to Madison Square Garden with Woodbury and Gasell and Aaron White and that wonderful group, at which time they knocked off Mark Turgeon and Maryland. This is before Maryland came into the Big Ten. Iowa beat Maryland in the semifinals and then lost to an outstanding Baylor team in the championship. But Virginia's nearly unbeatable. They're an ACC leading 72-9 in ACC games in the last 10 years. Duke is second at 70-11. So I don't want to spend all night on their home record, but I think, Bobby, it illustrates what a big victory that is for the Hawks the other night.
I have fond memories of Charlottesville, Virginia, and it started with that NIT quarterfinal game when that group went in there and knocked them off because nobody really gave Iowa much of a shot there. Okay, this is the end of the road for them. It's been a good run, but it was a big victory. I don't know, maybe 13 points in that one. It was a dominating win, and lo and behold, the Hawks are going to New York City, and that group with I think Mike Gasell and Adam Woodbury were freshmen. Our senior might have been Eric May, might have been a senior on that team, but Aaron White, as you mentioned, those guys. But it was a chance to go to New York City. Everybody wants to play at Madison Square Garden, and they did, man. The only time that a Hawkeye basketball team has ever played in the month of April was back then at the NIT in 2013.
Good stuff. So the Hawks now have won 7 of their last 9 Big Ten ACC Challenge games, counting the 75-74 win over Virginia the other night. And this is the final night of the Big Ten ACC Challenge. The Hawks were the first out of the gate Monday night. Illinois followed up with a victory over Notre Dame. Tonight, there are games going on. We have those on here on the flat screens at the beautiful Edgewater Grill. So stop in, Edgewater Bar and Grill, and join us for Hawk Talk. Coach McCaffery, by the way, will be here at 7:30. He'll be with us from 7:30 until 8:30 tonight, and I should give you the sites to send your questions or comments, anything you'd like to talk about where Hawkeye basketball is concerned, on Twitter at Gary Dolphin, or on Facebook at facebook.com/voiceofthehawks. And you can call the U.S. Cellular Hawkeye Hotline if you so choose, if you're old-fashioned like Hanson and I, 877-464-2957. 877-464-2957. Brady's ready to jot down your questions or comments, and he'll pass them along to us. Iowa and Virginia, almost deep in the rearview mirror. We'll get coaches' comments about the game Monday night, but all eyes now point ahead to Purdue and what back-to-back askings of this young Iowa team on the road to go to Charlottesville and now to Mackey Arena in West Lafayette. I was talking to Peyton Sanford the other night after the game, and he said, "Hey, man, tell me what Purdue's like." I said, "Well, take tonight times 2, and you've got Mackey Arena." Now, it only holds 14,000. The John Paul Jones Arena holds a lot more than that, but I don't know there's a louder arena when it's full than Mackey Arena in West Lafayette. And we'll talk more about that matchup. Purdue ranked number 2. And I noticed Leonard Hamilton's comments, the Florida State head coach, the other night after Purdue beat Florida State 93-65. Leonard Hamilton, the coach of Florida State, said that is a Final Four team. They're built like a Final Four team.
Yeah, a lot of season to go, Gary. But right now, if you look at the makeup of that team, when you bring in Travion Williams off the bench, he's your 6th man. I heard him talk about it last night. Matt Painter calls him his closer. He didn't call him his 6th starter, but he's a guy that comes in there and finishes like a Major League Baseball pitcher. He comes in and shuts them down, and he had a big game. But they got an immovable object in the middle there, and Zach Edey, 7'4". I played with a guy, Mark Eaton, at 7'4", and it's a mountain of a man when you see somebody of that size. And just watching him last night, they were trying everything, but they throw it over the top. He doesn't bring the ball down low. He keeps it up high and dunks it in over the top. So the kid's only 19 years old, just started playing basketball a few years ago. I think he was a baseball pitcher coming off the mound at 7'4". But yeah, he's a big time player. And then the one that has really improved in my mind is Jaden Ivey, the son of the Notre Dame women's basketball coach, Coach Ivey. But he has really improved. He's one of the 10 players of the Big Ten preseason all-conference team, along with Keegan Murray and Travion Williams, the 3 players in this game coming up. But he is smooth, 6'4", and reminds me a little bit of Ayo Dosunmu, maybe not as tall, but he's got that type of ability to get to the rim or knock down jump shots.
Yeah, Ivey is 6'4", 6'5", just a sophomore, but he looks like an All-American. I mean, he's playing like an All-American, and they got great perimeter shooters, as they always do at Purdue. So they got the right combos, but it's the Big Ten curtain raiser at Mackey Arena with the Hawkeyes, and we'll be on the air. That's a little bit of a later start, 7 o'clock pregame coverage here on the Hawkeye Radio Network, and 8 o'clock for the tip-off. And we'll talk, obviously, more about that with Coach McCaffery as soon as he arrives. There are some games underway in this, the final night of the Big Ten ACC Challenge. So let's take a peek at the U.S. Bank scoreboard before we take our first break. Michigan State leads Louisville 30-22. These are all late in the first half scores. Nebraska in front of North Carolina State on the road, 37-33. And Virginia Tech has a 1-point lead on Maryland, 26-25. With 3 minutes to play first half. Later, it's Wisconsin at Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Michigan. That's the marquee game tonight in the matchups of Big Ten and ACC basketball teams. North Carolina hosting Michigan, and Miami will be at Penn State. We'll step out and take our first break here on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery. As I mentioned at the outset of the program, we're delighted to be here. Here comes Coach now. We're delighted to be here at the Edgewater Bar and Grill inside the Hyatt Regency in the Iowa River Landing, and we want you to come on out each and every week and say hi to Coach Fran McCaffery and Bobby and I, and we'll be here each and every week for 90 minutes of Iowa Hawkeye basketball talk. Join us for Hawk Talk here at the Hyatt Regency, Coralville's Edgewater Bar and Grill, where you can enjoy extended happy hour until 8:30. Various nightly specials include $2 Michelob draft beers, half-off glasses of select wines, and buy one, get one half-off appetizers and sandwiches. That's every week when you come to the show. Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery. You can be entered also into the hotel's drawing and win a range of prizes, from a bottle of wine to a free night stay here at the Hyatt Regency, Coralville. All right, we're off and running. We'll be right back with more here on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery right after this. Hawk Talk with the coach from Learfield.
There's a sense of pride that comes from the life of a farmer. How many people can say they have a famous tan named after them, or be known for their wave when they drive past neighbors and strangers alike on a 2-lane road? Whether it's a farmer's tan or the farmer's wave, we are proud to be known for a lot of things. We feel that pride every night at the dinner table, knowing we feed our family and yours. Iowa Corn is proud to be on the sidelines cheering on the Iowa Hawkeyes. In Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer. IRC Beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
When you build a network locally engineered for the home team, you know how important a strong connection is on game day. So you give every fan in town access to 5G at no extra charge. Now, when you switch to US Cellular, you can get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Join the nationwide network built from your town up and stay connected to your home team with US Cellular 5G. Switch today and get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Terms apply. 5G not available everywhere. See uscellular.com for details.
Knowing that I can make a difference in my patients' lives keeps me motivated every single day. Hi, I'm Dr. Kanya Ferguson at University of Iowa Healthcare. With academic medicine, we see the toughest cases, so we're always innovating. And we bring the best minds together to collaborate, so there's more brain power focused on you. Because that leads to exceptional care for our patients and our community. See how at uihc.org.
This is John.
Hey, my name is John Jackson.
He's not some actor. He's a steward of the land with a John Deere 3 Series tractor and a PTO Quick Connect that hooks up rear implements with a single click. John runs with us because to him, there's nothing more important than connecting with the land. Nothing runs like a Deere. Hear John's story at Deere.com.
Stop by your local John Deere dealer for a test drive today or learn more at Deere.com. Your Iowa John Deere dealers, proud sponsors of Hawkeye basketball. Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly transformed Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center. Located in the heart of the Iowa River Landing, walking distance to Extreme Arena, home of the Iowa Hawkeyes volleyball team, as well as some great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency is the new home of Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery this fall. Come find your place at Hyatt Regency, where we care for people so they can be their best.
And welcome back to the Hyatt Regency Coralville's Edgewater Bar and Grill. Gary Dolphin and Bobby Hansen of the Hawkeye Radio Network. Fran McCaffery has joined us. We'll get with Coach in just a minute, but I thought it only appropriate that we have the official Chamber of Commerce welcoming here tonight. Josh Schomburger is not here, but Matt Trado is. He's the general manager of the Hyatt Regency, and thank you for being a great host. We look forward to 50-degree days and 30 below throughout the winter as the Hawkeye basketball team has another successful year, Matt, but thanks.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for being here, and what a great start, Coach, to the year, and we're looking forward to a whole season. You know, done a lot of things here over the past few months once we transitioned from the Coralville Marriott to the Hyatt Regency, and a lot of the same faces, but we've been able to add quite a few more to the team, and we're working through some design phase stages for the renovation that's going to take place probably at the end of next year's football season, because it does take a little time to come up with the right design and,
sure.
and everything that we need to do and get everything obviously sourced and delivered here. So looking forward to some new things coming up as well.
Well, we look forward to the association here at the Hyatt Regency. And Coach, I know you have a lot of people stay here when they're in town visiting, whether it's family, friends, or recruits and their families.
Yeah, the location is perfect. The people here are great. I've known Matt a long time, and the first-class operation in every step of the way. When you're recruiting somebody for 2 years and you have them come and visit with their families, it's a big deal where they stay. And we put them here, and everything's done exactly how you want it done. When you're trying to incorporate people into our community that many times are not from here. So we just appreciate that relationship and this one as well as we move forward.
I guarantee you the recruits love the food here.
Yeah. The
football banquet is held here almost annually, and we've had so many great memories here. So, Matt, we're off and rolling. Thanks for being a great host, and we'll look forward to seeing you roaming the halls here all season long.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you. Matt Trado, the general manager of the Hyatt Regency Coralville. Coach, great win on Monday night. Bobby and I were talking about a confidence builder. It was so much more than that, but I'm sure you learned bits and pieces, and will continue to do so here as the Big Ten starts up, about each and every player.
Yeah, it's interesting because, we hadn't been on the road in a long time where we had a hostile environment like that. So you don't know how the guys are going to respond, especially the ones that haven't experienced it before. We have, essentially 8 guys on the team that haven't done that before. And pretty much to a man, they were successful in dealing with the crowd, the momentum shifts, more importantly, concentrating and sticking to the game plan, and then being able to make adjustments throughout. Our zone was really good to us in the first half. It was not good to us in the second half, so we had to make adjustments there. We changed our zone. We played some man. We played different combinations. But everybody that came in picked us up. I thought the bench was really into the game. We only had a couple of rows of fans, in the whole building, right behind the bench, and they were going crazy, so that was fun. But, when you give up a lead and get it back, give it up again, get it back, make a great basket and a great defensive play. You know, Joe Toussaint and Patrick, just phenomenal court awareness. You know, we thought we had something going on the out-of-bounds play. Thought it was a foul. Wasn't. They didn't call it. All right, so somebody's got to go make a play. So really thrilled for the guys. It was a great locker room celebration.
Now, you mentioned the ebb and flow, and you usually have that in every game at some point. But a 21-point lead in the first half, which was so impressive, the way the guys built that on the road. I was quoting Virginia's home record since John Paul Jones Arena was built. They're 70-9 in ACC games, better than anybody else in the league. So they really protect the home court. To be able to withstand the onslaught of the Virginia comeback, get down, to your point, a couple times late in the game, and then to have Joe hit the big shot off the glass and Patrick blocked the shot to end the game, you got to be so doggone proud of the guys.
Very proud. You know, we made some mistakes. The last possession of the half, we had 3 fouls to give, and we didn't foul, and they scored at the buzzer. They finished the half on a run, and in the second half, we had a situation where we had pretty good defensive stops, and 3 times they got the ball back and put it back in. So you don't want to, you know, when you're protecting a 9, 8, 7-point lead, you don't want to give them second shot, put back opportunities. So, you know, they had, as you said, ebb and flows. You know, you have Gardner, who's a really good player. He's a low post guy. He pops out and hits 2 threes. He's not a 3-point shooter, but he makes 2. And the other kid that made 4, Murray, he hadn't really played that much. You know, and he makes 4, give him credit. He missed the free throw, you know, and hasn't been to the free throw line very much. So, you know, the guys just, I thought, stayed the course, and that's what you got to do.
And, Coach, the rest of the ACC is going to grab that tape and see, how did Iowa put up 44 first-half points, the most ever under a Tony Bennett coach team, and 75, the most points scored this season, against a team considered one of the best defensive teams in the country? How are you able to get that many points?
Well, when you think about it, they've only given up 75 points 6 times since he's been there in like 14 years. And twice we did it. So I think it comes down to, you know, we're going to push it. We're going to move it. You know, our transition, our motion game, I think, is one that it kind of works against the pack line. We've seen a lot of pack line this year. We've talked about it, you and I. I'm going to say 80% of the teams we played this year play pack line, but nobody plays it as well as they do. They are really good at it. They're physical. They're they're in your space. They're in the gaps. They challenge you. Yeah, I would argue that more fouls should be called than actually are called, but they're really good at disguising that and not putting you on the free throw line. They're kind of like us. They're one of the few teams that over the course of every season, we make more free throws than our opponents attempt. So that's one of the reasons why teams, you know, don't score a lot against them, because they don't get to the free throw line very much. So, you know, I think it was our ball movement, our screening, our cutting, and our decision making. And then, of course, you know, we made some threes. You got to, if you're going to beat them and you're going to score 75, you're going to have to make threes because they're all back. And obviously, Jordan was instrumental there, you know, catching fire early. And then we hit a few others, you know, Keegan and, you know, Patrick hit a big one in the second half. So, you know, we had guys step up and make threes, and that will open up a few more opportunities. You know, we threw it inside a little bit, probably need to throw it in there a little bit more. But I thought our decisions on penetration were really good, because what's not going to happen, you're not going to take the ball and drive it through their defense and score. You have to break it down. You've got to drive it and draw, kick it, drive the closeout. Maybe you get them on the second or third opportunity to penetrate the basket, to the basket, and also recognize that when the pack line is in, they're going to be in there taking charges. So if you go flying in there off one leg and out of control, it plays right into their, you're going to miss, they're going to run it back. That's the only time they run off situations like that. So our guys, you know, stayed to the game plan there. They didn't go flying out of control. They didn't put their heads down and try to drive a pack defense. And we pushed it every chance we got so that we got the ball down the floor before they had their defense set.
And, Coach, I kind of understand what pack line is. I didn't when I first started doing it, or watching Wisconsin, I guess, if you will, when I first heard the term. I kind of understand it now. Without taking up the entire hour, can you kind of explain pack line to the listeners?
Yeah, it's not overly complicated in the sense that if you think about it, why'd you call it pack line? Well, you're back. You're basically three-point lining in. So there's going to be heavy ball pressure. They're going to hard hedge ball screens, but they're going to get back. And if you take it to one side, they're going to be over. So the weak side is going to be in the lane. And they're basically taking away your driving opportunities. And they're going to close out hard, sometimes fly at the shooter, so they're going to challenge your shooters. And they're going to limit you to one shot. I mean, that's basically what they're trying to do. They also will double the post often that's part of the pack line. So you throw it in, they double the post, they make you throw it back out. And then they get their defense set again. So they're going to try to set it in transition, try to set it at half court, and, not give you a lot of one-on-one post-up opportunities or have one-on-one driving opportunities with space. You never have any space. You have to create the space with ball movement, screening, and intelligent drives that make sense. And a lot of teams get frustrated. They start quick shooting the ball, or they drive into packs of people and turn it over, or they start standing around, and then at the end of the shot clock, you end up with a contested 3 or a contested 2, which is exactly what they want. They want you to shoot a lot of tough 2s. And that's why they're in your space to start with, so you don't have any open 3s. But we moved it and got some open 3s, as you saw.
And I assume rebound and run. I mean, transition, beat them down the court.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, transition defense is hard, because you got to get back and then you got to put it together. So that's why we run. So you outlet it, you go, you sprint, you get down the floor, and you see if they can stop the ball, if they can match to your shooters, if they can cover the basket. And then, obviously, I mean, you played the game a long time, Bobby. Nobody's doubling the ball in transition. You can't. So there's never going to be a double team, and that's what Garza figured out last year. He just kept running, and the double team never got there, whether it was at the front of the rim or whether he was picking and popping. And he's pretty much going to score every time it's one-on-one. If you let him, if we walk it up and they pack line, now they can get the double team there in a hurry. Now he's got to throw it out, which is exactly what they want. They want somebody else to shoot the ball. So our guys, I think did a really, really good job. And I think learned even as the game went on, quite honestly, because you can talk about it, you can show it to them on film, but until you're actually out there experiencing it, and it can be frustrating because we want to play fast. We're averaging 98 or whatever it was, and they're trying to hold you into the 50s. The last 4 games before we played them, teams were averaging 47 points. So to be able to get 75 was a really good achievement by our guys.
Sure was, and I think your depth, you mentioned the bench and the depth, I want to pick up on that when we come back, had a lot to do with that, especially the last 5 or 6 minutes. Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery, our opening show tonight from the Hyatt Regency in Coralville, the Edgewater Bar and Grill. You're invited to come on out and join us for the next almost an hour. Coach will be here until 8:30 tonight taking your questions and your calls and your comments. So we're brought to you by Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light. Bud Light proudly welcomes Hawkeye fans back to Carver Hawkeye Arena this year. Bud Light is for the fans. By the way, Illinois will be in here for Iowa's conference home opener. This is the early portion of the Big Ten schedule coming up next Monday night, and there are tickets available. I checked with the ticket office today. Jess Rickardson told me, there are some tickets available. So come on over and root this young basketball team on. They're so exciting to watch. Bud Light and Carver Hawkeye Arena. Bud Light is for the fans. U.S. Cellular, America's locally grown wireless with a nationwide network built from your town up. We're proud to be the official wireless provider of Iowa Hawkeye basketball and the University of Iowa. And they also provide us with our Hawkeye hotline at 877-464-2957 if you'd like to join us. We're also brought to you by Iowa Corn. Here in Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Corn is a multi-purpose crop which benefits the entire state, feeding our livestock, nourishing our families, and providing clean-burning fuel for the planet. Thank you, Iowa's corn farmers. This is Hawk Talk from Learfield.
What are you craving? The Wig and Pin in Ankeny, across from DMAC, is proud to offer dine-in and carry-out. Home of the famous Flying Tomato Pizza and Chicago-style deep dish, The Wig has all of your favorites, including thin crust pizza, appetizers, lots of sandwiches like the Turkey Club and Reuben, soups and salads you'll love, and a full bar. Call to order or just come on in for lunch and dinner. The Wig and Pin in Ankeny. What are you craving?
Hi, Hawk fans. This is Gary Dolphin. I've been telling you about Authentic Brand's superb Hawkeye gear. But did you know Authentic Brand by TCB Companies is an official outfitter of well-known enterprises and organizations, including iHeartRadio Group and Learfield? The style and comfort and great looks of Authentic Brand gear, both sporty and professional, will give your image a boost. Outfit your personal and professional life in Authentic Brand gear.
After a cancer diagnosis, it's natural to want to start treatment right away. But first, get a second opinion from a team that specializes in your cancer. I'm Dr. George Weiner, Director of University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you start treatment, you deserve to be confident you have the right diagnosis and know every option available to you. So whether it's with us or somewhere else, get a second opinion. It can change your care and your life.
Anything can happen when the Cyclones and Hawkeyes come to compete. It's where the rubber meets the road. Neighbors become rivals and friends become foes. Some go home broken-hearted, while others are victorious. When the dust finally settles, one thing stands true. No matter which side you're on, you're part of tradition for those who are Iowan through and through. We're Iowa Corn, a proud sponsor of the Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Series. In Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa.
The holiday season is here. Time for laughter and time for cheer. This year, enjoy spending time celebrating with family and friends. Just remember, buzz driving is drunk driving. If you're going to drink, plan another way home before the celebration begins and encourage your friends and family to do the same. Even one too many drinks increases the risk of a crash while driving. Be responsible and have a happy holidays. This message is brought to you by the Iowa Department of Public Safety, the Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau, and your local law enforcement.
The next time you visit Eastern Iowa, check out the official local business partners of the Iowa Hawkeyes, the Hotel at Kirkwood Center, Bachmeyer Carpet One Floor and Home, the Jill Armstrong team with Skogman Realty, and Klosterman Construction, building custom homes for 20 years. Klosterman Construction is a premier custom home builder doing everything from remodels to exclusive custom homes. Klosterman takes the stress out of your building project. Award-winning designs, quality craftsmanship, and superior customer service. Call 319-545-7088.
Welcome back to the Hyatt Regency and our inaugural blast-off program of Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. We're brought to you by many of our great advertisers who bring you each and every game night here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. By the way, if you miss any part of tonight's show, you can subscribe to the Fight for Iowa podcast feed and get full broadcast replays of Hawk Talk, our weekly Fight for Iowa and Hawkeyes voice podcasts, exclusive game day content, and more. Head to your favorite podcast app and search for the Fight for Iowa podcast. In fact, we'll have new President Barbara Wilson on this week. We'll have Barbara's interview up there tomorrow. Fran, have you met? I know you've met Barbara. Have you had casual?
You haven't had a lot of conversation. When she first got here, she made a great effort to talk to as many people as she could in the athletic department. I was away, was recruiting, and then I met her actually twice at a football game. So she was over there, and I got a chance to visit with her. Once was on the field, once was in the suites. But delightful and excited to be here, and very, I think, pro athletics.
She is.
Which is obviously, really important to us. And I mean, she just gets the importance of athletic programs on a college campus, and she's kind of grown up professionally in that environment in the Big Ten. So we're thrilled to have her.
You bet, absolutely. She's grown up in this footprint. Born and raised in Wisconsin, went to UW Madison, spent 21 years down in Champaign-Urbana, and here she is in Iowa City. We're happy to have her. So, Barbara, welcome. And her podcast interview will be up tomorrow on the Fight for Iowa podcast. A couple more points, subject matter from Virginia, the big win at Virginia, Fran. You mentioned the bench earlier and the depth. I thought, Joe Toussaint was so much better for that. He got a great blow there of, 3, 4, 5 minutes late in the game. And he looked like he was refreshed when he got in there and hit a tough shot. Got the ball inbounds. I thought he had the timeout called when they called that jump ball.
I did too,
late in the game.
Because the thing you got to remember about that play, Dolph, is throughout the course of the game, I can't call timeout.
Explain that rule, Fran.
With 2 minutes to go, I can.
Inside 2 minutes
players
at the
have
end
to call
of the game. Okay.
Yeah, so the players have to call before that. So I try to call one, if you remember.
Oh, you were
the first
racing up
half.
and down the
I was
side.
about at the 10-second line.
Yeah.
And nobody could hear me, so we ended up shooting a bad shot. But in that play, he dove on the floor, grabbed the ball. I'm right in the official's ear saying, timeout, timeout, timeout. And they give the jump ball. So I wasn't real happy about that, to be honest with you. But, you're right. With Israel, as far as
his energy,
you mentioned Toussaint, but it really wasn't just him. We have enough depth to keep fresh bodies out there. And if you're gonna run offense against pack line, and then you're gonna play defense, a team that's going to eat the whole clock up, you have to have fresh bodies out there, or you're not going to be successful. So we kept the pressure on, and when I say pressure on, that's both defensively and offensively. Because if you're going to run against a pack, you have to cut. You have to screen. You have to sprint off screens. You got to drive and kick. You got to move it to the other side. You got to go in and out and to the other side, and that takes a lot of energy. And then if you make it, great. If you miss it, you got to run back. Now you got to guard them for 30 seconds because they're going to run a million screens, and they run that blocker mover. It's his flare screen one side, down screen on the other, and sometimes they go back the other way if they think you're top blocking them, and you have to sprint. Otherwise, they curl everything, and then they force help, and then they pitch it to the rim. So they do a really good job. A lot of teams run, they'll call it circle motion. It's the old blocker mover, and his dad, I think, was the first guy to really do it.
Dick Bennett.
Dick Bennett, he did it, and they do it really well. And they sometimes that's all they run, but then they'll run they have a few other calls and a few other wrinkles, a few other counters, obviously. And he's been around the block, so he knows what he's doing. So they're going to try to get you one way or the other. But primarily, you're going to guard that over and over and over. That's why we pressed them, even if it was token, because that means there's 10, 12 fewer seconds you have to guard all of those screens. Because the philosophy is at some point you're going to break down on one of those screening actions. You're going to break down. We're going to get you. So if you have 2 or 3 less times you have to guard it, you got a better chance of guarding it well.
Keegan Murray continues to be the nation's top scorer, but I just loved his line the other night. 18 points, 9 rebounds. He was really involved at both ends of the floor. Not that he hasn't been before, but against this kind of competition, that was terrific.
Yeah, I told him to be more aggressive. He's just not that kind of guy. I mean, he's not a volume shooter. It's hard to believe kind of that he's leading the nation in scoring. It's just incredibly efficient. But, for example, against them, you're going to get the ball maybe with 9, 8, 7 on the shot clock. Well, we're trying to move it, drive and kick, move it in and out, side to side, like I said. But, all right, at some point, you've got the ball, and you got to go make a play, because otherwise you're not going to get a shot off. So he would get it, and he would look, and he's not a guy that hunts shots or takes bad shots. He doesn't do it.
Very unselfish.
So he'd move it. So he'd throw the ball to a guy with 4 seconds on the shot clock. Now what's he going to do with it? So I said, Keegan, I need you with 8 or 9 to go. Because he's going to shoot a pull-up. I mean, who's blocking that? Right?
Nobody.
With his length. I said, that might be the best shot we get in that possession. Don't put your teammate in that position. We'll all go in there and try to rebound it for you. If you miss it, just go try to make it, or try to draw a foul, because he's a hard guy not to foul. And he's got that really good drive hard step back jumper, which is going to give us a chance every time to score if he shoots that.
And Fran, when he went out there in the second half, his twin brother came in there and made a play for you, Chris, showing what he's got.
Yeah, the thing I like about him, we ran a set play at one point in time, and Tony hit Connor, and Connor hit him immediately, hit the big three about midway through the second half. He gives us another three-point shooting threat. He gives us another long, athletic guy that can switch on screening action and guard smaller guys, bigger guys. He'll stick his nose in there and rebound on the glass. But he's just getting more and more comfortable now because he didn't play as much last year as his brother. But now he's playing a lot, and he's playing well, and he's playing with confidence.
And you're playing the two together, which is kind of fun to watch at length with Patrick.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, the more three-point shooters you have, the better, obviously, especially when they're all front court guys. There's a lot of teams will play three guards, and they have three guards that shoot threes, but the front court guys don't. Those guys sit in the lane, especially when you're playing pack line. If you can't shoot, they're sitting in the lane on you. There's really nowhere to drive to.
Fran, we were talking about Joe Toussaint. We had him as our star of the game. We could have had 4 or 5 different guys the other night, but he talked about, I said, where did you learn, who taught you on the staff that high arcing jump shot this year? He goes, oh no, man, I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos. That caught me off guard.
He's been shooting that shot since he was a kid. You know, I mean, you forget, you know, he's a point guard and he's loading people up, and he last year played with the leading scorer in the country, and you don't think about it, but he's the all-time leading scorer in his high school. And Jamal Mashburn played at his high school. That's whose record he broke. So that tells you a lot about his ability to score.
He's so aggressive, and he's got that energy under control. And Troy, checking in on Twitter, wanted to know about the evolution of Joe Toussaint. But all parts of his game are solid. He's playing under control.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, if ever he gets into trouble, it's when he tries to do too much. If he over dribbles, you know, when he's under control, I mean, he kind of like Steve Nash used to do. He would dribble and kind of keep his dribble and come out the other side and just keep looking and wait. That's what he's got to be able to do. But the thing that I think has been good for him this year is he's really hitting that pull-up jumper. That adds a whole new dimension to not only his game but our team.
Connie wants to know, are you a fan of playing Big Ten opponents in the middle of your non-conference schedule or this early?
Well, I think in a perfect world we would wait. But if you remember, the reason we do that now, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, we made a decision as a conference a few years ago to go to 20 league games. And as you analyze the NET numbers, the net ratings, it behooves us to play each other more than it does other teams. So we're on average going to get one extra team into the tournament every year if we went to 20 league games from 18. You know, so that's what we did. The other thing is, this was a big Jim Delaney thing. It's one of the reasons why we moved games earlier, and also the Gavitt games. It was to get college basketball interest earlier.
Sure.
You know, for many years it was football ends, you know, the January bowl games, you know, the late December, January, and then okay, well now college basketball starts. No, college basketball starts in November. Well, the only way that people are going to be interested in it is if there are some compelling games. So you have the Gavitt games, you have the ACC Big Ten Challenge, and you have a lot of MTEs, which are multiple team events. So, you know, what used to be Maui Classic and the Alaska Shootout, well, now there's one in Cayman Islands, there's in Cancun. They're everywhere. And typically we're going to go to those. You know, the last 2 years, of course, with the COVID stuff, you know, we were a little reluctant. You know, we weren't going to go to Mexico right now. You know, we're not going to Cayman Islands right now.
No.
Let's keep everybody right here. You know, and then down the road, you know, you still have some destinations you can get to, whether it be Florida, Las Vegas, Madison Square Garden. Remember a couple of years ago we won a 2K Classic. You know, California. I think we might go to one in San Diego next year or something like that. So you're trying to play those games in November to get people interested in what's going on, and get ESPN and CBS and those folks, Fox, talking about basketball.
Well said. So there you have it, Troy, on why the Hawks play early Big Ten opponents at Purdue Friday. And we're going to talk about Purdue when we come back. Illinois on Monday. As we go to break, Beth and Keokuk, Coach, who have you modeled your style after the most? Coaching style.
Well, I've had some pretty good mentors. I probably have taken few things from all of them. You know, like I'm probably a little more like Coach McLeod than I was Digger, but a lot of the stuff that Digger did in terms of organization, not only organizing a game plan, but organizing a program. He was brilliant. You know, how he hired a staff, what we emphasized, how we recruited, all of those things, paying attention to every detail in the recruiting process or in a game plan process. So I really learned a lot from him. Coach McLeod, his personality is a little more like mine. You know, so we also run a lot of his stuff still. A brilliant offensive mind. But I also worked for a guy named Tom Schneider, who, you know, most people won't remember. He was an East Coast guy. I worked with him at Lehigh. I played for him when I was at Penn. He was an assistant. Brilliant offensive mind. You know, and again, you're always influenced. You know, I've always been thought of as an offensive coach more than a defensive coach, because you know, my theory is you got to score. You got to put pressure on the defense. You got to score. You got to move the ball. You got to be able to run some sets. But it's funny because everybody that I ever worked for ran. When I played at Wake, we ran. When I played at Penn, we ran for Coach Weinhauer. He was, personality-wise, somebody that I great affinity for, my college coach. I loved him. He still texts me after every game and watches our team. He came out and worked with our team. He ended up being, after we left Penn, he was the general manager of the Houston Rockets when they won the World Championship. So he's a brilliant basketball guy. He's another person that I really admired in terms of how he ran a program, but more importantly, how he related to the players, how he related to me when I was playing for him. And that's the kind of relationship I want to have with my guys, the relationship he had with his guys. So we met another one of my mentors the other day. Craig Littlepage was at our shoot-around. He gave me my first job. He, of course, was the athletic director of Virginia for many years. Coached at Penn, coached at Rutgers. Got out of coaching, got into administration. Really was the main guy that got the money together to build the John Paul Jones Arena on Virginia's campus, which was a game changer for sure in the early 2000s. The old place was really just okay. Yeah. And they were going to flounder in the ACC if they didn't get that new place built. And it was, you know, it's a state-of-the-art facility. It was great to see Coach Page. You know, I always appreciate. Everybody appreciates the person that gives you your first coaching job. For sure. And I learned a lot from him. For sure.
Yeah. When you look across the court and see John Grisham sitting directly across from you. Yeah, this building.
And Ralph Sampson. I saw Ralph.
Was Ralph there?
Ralph was down there with his family, and the old place was Ralph's house, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. You know, I played there in the late 70s. It was right after Ralph left. They had, actually, Ralph was right after that. They had Jeff Lamp and that team, that group. They had a really good club. And Terry Holland was the coach. We had some great games with them.
Great coach.
Yeah.
Where was that at, Fran? Right behind it?
It was right across the street. They just a couple years ago they blew it up.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it.
It was there a couple of years ago when Connor and Patrick both played in the NBA Top 100 camp, which was on their campus.
Oh, okay.
Which, quite honestly, was a tremendous recruiting advantage, because every year,
the best.
Supposedly the top 120 players in the country. Luka was there, Joe Toussaint was there, Connor was there, Patrick was there, Joe Wieskamp was there. You know, a lot of those kids, and it was a very, very well done event. The NBA Players Association ran it, so it was, you're being coached by NBA players and you're getting exposure, but they would have programs that would try to teach these kids kind of the big picture.
Yep.
And how to act and educate them, and they bring in a bunch of different speakers, and it was really well done. I was part of the parent program, actually, because coaches weren't allowed to go for many years. They opened it up 2 years ago for us to go as recruiters, but before that, I was the only coach there because my boys were playing. Yep. So
you got into a lot of gymnasiums and games that way, didn't you?
I did. Well, you know, I always say the first time I saw Luka play, I was in Atlanta, Georgia, watching college.
As a parent.
I was a parent. I'm like, who is this Who's this guy? Who's this 6'10"? I kind of like him.
Scoring machine.
That'll be
come play for us.
That'll be in your book. We'll take a break here, and when we come back, we'll turn our thoughts to Purdue. We'll also give you a scoreboard update on the Big Ten ACC Challenge going on tonight. We're on Hawk Talk, our inaugural send-off program with Coach Fran McCaffery. We'll be here each and every week at the Edgewater Bar and Grill inside the Hyatt Regency. And we're brought to you by Wellmark. Blue is caring, blue is convenient, and now blue is Medicare Advantage from Wellmark Advantage Health Plans, offering all-in-one Medicare coverage, our extensive network, and the confidence of being covered by Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Learn more at wellmarkadvantage.com. Hey, the Hawkeyes are officially bowl eligible, and you can sign up to automatically receive official bowl travel information at hawkeyesports.com/bowl central. And when the game is announced this weekend, you'll immediately receive information on game tickets, air travel, and hotel. That's hawkeyesports.com/bowl central, presented by Travel Leaders, Destinations Unlimited, Iowa's official bowl tour. This is Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Knowing that I can make a difference in my patients' lives keeps me motivated every single day. Hi, I'm Dr. Kanya Ferguson at University of Iowa Healthcare. With academic medicine, we see the toughest cases, so we're always innovating. And we bring the best minds together to collaborate, so there's more brain power focused on you. Because that leads to exceptional care for our patients and our community. See how at uihc.org.
When you build a network locally engineered for the home team, you know how important a strong connection is on game day. So you give every fan in town access to 5G at no extra charge. Now, when you switch to US Cellular, you can get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Join the nationwide network built from your town up and stay connected to your home team with US Cellular 5G. Switch today and get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Terms apply. 5G not available everywhere. See uscellular.com for details.
When you set up a savings goal with U.S. Bank, it grows with you. There's no limit to what you can crochet. Can do. Doesn't have to be crocheting, but it totally could be. Like the headphones you're listening to this ad with, you could totally crochet those. There's no telling where your savings goal will take you. Maybe you'll save enough for yarn to crochet your house or the whole town. Oh, right. Doesn't have to be crochet related.
Set up savings goals on the U.S. Bank mobile app, even for the wildest of dreams. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
In Iowa, we grow corn, a lot of corn. We love seeing our farmers in the fields, and although they're perfect strangers, we know them. We know them by their equipment covered in dust. We know them by their work ethic, where days off don't exist. We know them by the way they wave, passing strangers alike on a 2-lane road. We know them in the midst of our kitchen as we prepare another family meal. In Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. The Iowa corn farmers are proud to be on the sidelines for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Welcome back to the Edgewater Bar and Grill in the Hyatt Regency and the Iowa River Landing here in Coralville. We've got a nice group here tonight. Let's hear it, guys. Welcome back to Hawk Talk. Coach McCaffery.
There, we woke him up.
Yeah. They're just kind of lounging here.
Enjoying the food.
Yeah, this isn't a blues and jazz lounge here. This is Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery, and we're going to get back to Fran and Bobby and talk about Purdue in just a minute. First off, though, a scoreboard update courtesy of U.S. Bank, our friends at U.S. Bank, great supporters of the Hawks. Elsewhere in the Big Ten ACC Challenge tonight, Michigan State has pulled out to a 16-point lead on Louisville. 57-41. That's up in East Lansing. Nebraska up 10 at North Carolina State, 61-51 with just under 8.5 minutes to go in that game. And it is Maryland holding on at home against Virginia Tech, 43-40 with 9 minutes to play. Later, Michigan, North Carolina, Miami, Penn State, and Wisconsin plays at Georgia Tech. Florida and Oklahoma are nearing half, tied at 36. And Villanova, number 6 Villanova beat Penn. Sorry, Fran. Villanova beat Penn tonight 71-56. Notre Dame has a new football coach already. They've hired defensive coordinator Marcus Freeman to be the new head coach in South Bend. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. 10-second ID break here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. You're listening to Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery from Learfield. And when we come back, we'll get back to your questions on Twitter from the audience here in-house and also on Facebook. And we'll be right back. This is Hawk Talk from Learfield.
After a cancer diagnosis, it's natural to want to start treatment right away. But first, get a second opinion from a team that specializes in your cancer. I'm Dr. George Weiner, Director of University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you start treatment, you deserve to be confident you have the right diagnosis and know every option available to you. So whether it's with us or somewhere else, get a second opinion. It can change your care and your life.
When you build a network locally engineered for the home team, you know how important a strong connection is on game day. So you give every fan in town access to 5G at no extra charge. Now, when you switch to US Cellular, you can get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Join the nationwide network built from your town up and stay connected to your home team with US Cellular 5G. Switch today and get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Terms apply. 5G not available everywhere. See uscellular.com for details.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's a sense of pride that comes from the life of a farmer. How many people can say they have a famous tan named after them or be known for their wave when they drive past neighbors and strangers alike on a 2-lane road? Whether it's a farmer's tan or the farmer's wave, we are proud to be known for a lot of things. We feel that pride every night at the dinner table, knowing we feed our family and yours. Iowa Corn is proud to be on the sidelines cheering on the Iowa Hawkeyes. In Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa.
When you set up a savings goal with U.S. Bank, it grows with you. There's no limit to what you can crochet. Can do. Doesn't have to be crocheting, but it totally could be. Like the headphones you're listening to this ad with, you could totally crochet those. There's no telling where your savings goal will take you. Maybe you'll save enough for yarn to crochet your house or the whole town. Oh, right. Doesn't have to be crochet related.
Set up savings goals on the U.S. Bank mobile app, even for the wildest of dreams. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hi, Hawk fans. Gary Dolphin here. I want to tell you about my new favorite Iowa Hawkeye shirt. It's called The Corey by Authentic Brand. The stylish half-zip features butter-soft scuba knit performance fabric. Everyone at your tailgate will want one. To outfit your life in Authentic Brand gear, visit one of our fine retailers near you or order online at authentic-brand.com. You'll get fast, free delivery. Authentic Brand by TCB Companies.
We're back at the Edgewater Bar and Grill and the beautiful Hyatt Regency. Welcome back to Hawk Talk. I'm Gary Dolphin alongside former Hawkeye great Bobby Hansen and the head coach of the Hawkeyes, Fran McCaffery. Iowa at Purdue, late start, 8 o'clock, late start for Iowa, 8 o'clock on Friday night. We'll be on the air at 7 o'clock with our pregame coverage here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. And we're going to talk Purdue, Fran, but I got to throw this one at you. Bill on Twitter, he's from West Point. He wants to know, how many sets of twins has Fran coached in his career?
3.
Oh, that many. Okay, 3 sets of twins. Counting the Murrays?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So you're pretty good at changing them. I don't know, when they walk out of the arena, when I'm walking out, I was like, hey, guys, I don't know which one is which.
I think a lot of people are like that. It's interesting. Our players will tell you they're easy to tell apart.
Is it?
Yeah. You can once you get to know them. But, I mean, you can make a mistake once in a while.
One's right-handed, one's left-handed.
And we're different numbers.
Different numbers. Keegan's got the knee sleeve on. I do know that.
You've been studying it. That's
I'm trying.
You're right. They look so much alike in the face. Well, they're identical, right? Yeah, identical twins. So, Bobby, let's talk Purdue.
Yeah, from our listeners here, Mike wants to know, Purdue's averaging over 90. Iowa's over 90 points a game. What do you do in a game like that, Frank? Just go for it? Or is there certain isolation things that you want to do? And then Jeff wants to know, what do you do to game plan against a massive center like the big guy?
Well, the interesting thing about them is, you have a 7'4" guy, but Travion was first team all-conference last year. He's 6'10", 265. So he's coming off the bench this year. So he's first team all Big Ten last year. And now Zach Edey, the 7'4" guy, is starting, and he's coming off the bench. So they both play about 20 minutes. So they both present different challenges. So, I think most teams will feel like you can't play single coverage, you got to double. Zach, just kind of moves you. He's probably 285. So, you're fighting, and he's going to back you down, and, he dunks it so easy, as you can imagine. And he's got pretty good touch. Travion's, a little more versatile. He really passes well out of the double team. Actually, he wants to pass. If you double him, he's dropping dimes everywhere. So, you got to guard him early. You got to be physical. You got to move around. You got to come with the double team sometimes, and you got to make them finish over you. No angles. And then you got to make them play defense. They want to play offense. You got to make them play defense, and then you got to block them off, because otherwise, they'll get a lot of rebounds on you. And you don't want them to get offensive rebounds, because they're right there going to put it back in.
And on that thought, friend, how come Matt doesn't play the two together?
Well, if you remember a couple years ago, he started doing it a little bit.
With Haas, wasn't it?
With and Hammonds, and then it was more so with Matt Harms and Travion.
Yeah.
And he didn't like it. It didn't work. The way they run their stuff, it makes sense to play one. And then consequently, as you can imagine, the one is usually fresh, because they go in, they come out, and when they come in, they throw them the ball. So they know they're going to get it, and they're going to be active, and then they're going to go out and get a rest and come back in.
Fran, Jaden Ivey, just a sophomore, he's averaging 15 points. Where has he improved from his first year to now? Well,
it really started last year. Remember, we made the game winner against, I think it was Ohio State. From that point forward, he was always good, but he was an elite player in our league. He'll be a top 10 pick. He might be the first guard to be drafted.
I believe it.
Next year. He's really fast. He had a great summer, played on the USA gold medal team. He was a pretty good shooter. Now he's a really good shooter. That helps when you have his kind of speed and vision and the ability to defend and get to the rim and drive and dunk it. And then you can step out and make threes, and you can make a couple threes in a row. I mean, you're just an incredible weapon. Difficult guy to get under control.
And then they got Stefanovic trailing everything for threes, too.
The thing about him, he's a senior, Stefanovic, but he's a really good post feeder, too. They use him as a post feeder. So you got to put pressure on him to make sure he doesn't make a ton of threes, but also so he doesn't load up their bigs.
Mark on the U.S. Cellular Hawkeye Hotline says, Coach, can you talk about Peyton Sanford's development? He seems to have a really high basketball IQ.
Incredibly high basketball IQ. Really moves without the ball, handles it well, really good passer, and pretty much in the right place defensively. I mean, a lot of young guys, they make more mistakes on defense than they make on offense. I think people notice more when they're making mistakes on offense. They turn it over, they drive into a pack of people, they take a bad shot and miss it. There's a freshman mistake. Most of the freshman mistakes come defensively. They're not in the right place. They're guarding guys wrong. They forget the scouting report, but he's locked in. He's been impressive.
And another guy that I'm impressed with, a couple times I've seen Purdue, is Isaiah Thompson, PJ's little brother.
Well, he's back in the starting lineup. You think about Hunter was a starter for about 2.5 years, and they put Isaiah in there because he's, I think, a little bit of a better fit with Jaden. because he can really shoot the ball. If you remember the Villanova game, in the championship game of that tournament they were in, Villanova was up, 6 minutes to go, something like that, and they scored 11 straight possessions, Purdue.
Oh.
And Isaiah was right in the middle of that. Hit a couple threes. They hit one off a driving kick, and then they ran a set for him, and he came off and whacked a three. He's really, I think, playing with a lot of confidence. When he was a freshman, he's not a big guy. He's a smaller guard. He was solid, and he was trying to be solid. But now he's a confident guy. He's a junior. He's stronger, a little bit bigger, and he's really playing well.
Fran, they're still annually, Matt hasn't playing terrific defense. They're giving up 64 points a game. They're limiting teams 30% shooting from three. So Hawks know how to work for shots. They're going to need to do that Friday night.
Yeah, they're a team that is going to really challenge you physically. They're going to come get you at full court. They always do that, pressure the point guard. But again, he might have the deepest team in college basketball, so he's going to have fresh bodies out there too. So he's basically bringing 4 guys off the bench that started last year. Newman, Gillis, Travion, and Eric Hunter. I mean, who does that? Not only did everybody come back, because guys leave now.
Yeah.
They all came back and accepted coming off the bench.
They've got 7 guys averaging from 17 to 7.5 points a game. That's terrific balance.
Yeah, and you look at the minutes, it's pretty evenly distributed.
44% from three, 42% from the field. So they're playing well. That's why they're undefeated, but so are the Hawks. So it should be a great game. We'll step out and take a break here from the Hyatt Regency and Edgewater Bar and Grill. Get ready for Breakfast with Santa at Hyatt Regency here in Coralville on December 18th. It's a family-friendly breakfast. Includes a photo with Mr. and Mrs. Claus, a holiday craft and gift, as well as the chance to write a letter to Santa Claus. A cash bar will be available for Mom and Dad to enjoy holiday cocktails like Bloody Marys and mimosas with a complimentary first drink for each adult. To make your reservation, visit Eventbrite or call the Hyatt team. Let me check that. Visit Eventbrite or call the Hyatt team at 319-887-5004. 319-887-5004. The Hyatt Regency. That's where you'll find Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery each and every week throughout the basketball season. We'll pause and come right back with more Hawk Talk from Learfield.
American Equity salutes today's hero of the game and is a proud sponsor of the ongoing recognition of our military at Hawkeye games this season. Thank you to all the men and women, past and present, who have served our country and allow all of us to enjoy the freedom and liberty we enjoy today. American Equity's vision is to become the premier insurance company specializing in retirement savings and income products. To learn more about our company, please visit our website at american-equity.com.
When you build a network locally engineered for the home team, you know how important a strong connection is on game day. So you give every fan in town access to 5G at no extra charge. Now, when you switch to US Cellular, you can get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Join the nationwide network built from your town up and stay connected to your home team with US Cellular 5G. Switch today and get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Terms apply. 5G not available everywhere. See uscellular.com for details.
Hi, I'm Gary Dolphin, and if you want your home to be exceptionally comfortable during these cold Iowa winters and hot, humid summers, you need to turn to Dave Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Lennox has been serving Iowa consumers since 1895, when Dave Lennox built his first furnace in Marshalltown, and Lennox is still building its high-efficiency furnaces and air conditioners there today. For the best home comfort system you can buy, it's Lennox and your local Lennox dealer. Lennox and the Hawkeyes. Now there's a winning combination.
What are you craving? The Wig and Pin in Ankeny, across from DMAC, is proud to offer dine-in and carry-out. Home of the famous Flying Tomato Pizza and Chicago-style deep dish, The Wig has all of your favorites, including thin crust pizza, appetizers, lots of sandwiches like the Turkey Club and Reuben, soups and salads you'll love, and a full bar. Call to order or just come on in for lunch and dinner. The Wig and Pin in Ankeny. What are you craving?
Are you looking to downsize from your family home to begin your retirement years?
Our Oak Knoll East campus is for you. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director at Oak Knoll. Our new campus has many unique amenities for your active lifestyle, in addition to providing the same great services that Oak Knoll has offered our residents for over 50 years. We're now open and have a few 2-bedroom apartments still available. Call me at 319-351-1720 or visit oakknoll.com to set up your personal tour. Go Hawks!
Knowing that I can make a difference in my patients' lives keeps me motivated every single day. Hi, I'm Dr. Kanya Ferguson at University of Iowa Healthcare. With academic medicine, we see the toughest cases, so we're always innovating. And we bring the best minds together to collaborate, so there's more brain power focused on you. Because that leads to exceptional care for our patients and our community. See how at uihc.org.
Hawkeyes and Purdue at 8 o'clock on Friday night. Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, Indiana. Bobby Hansen and I, Gary Dauphin, will be on there at 7 o'clock with our pregame coverage here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. And then Coach McCaffery and the Hawks take on number 2 ranked Purdue as we welcome you back to Hawk Talk here in the Coralville, the Iowa River Landing in Coralville at the Hyatt Regency in the Edgewater Bar and Grill. Back to the questions for Coach. Bobby Hansen's here as well. Now, we have a question from the audience. What do you miss most about your daughter being so far away in Philadelphia? She's a freshman at Villanova, correct?
She is. She's a freshman at Villanova. I just miss her every day. You don't get to see her. She's not in her room. We would see each other. I talk to her every day, though. I call her every day.
Good for you.
Mm-hmm. And she will always call me after every game. She watches every game either on her phone or on the Big Ten Network. And she was home for Thanksgiving, so she got to see a game, and she'll be home shortly for Christmas.
So the Hawkeyes in Villanova in the national championship game. Where's she sitting?
You don't even have to. You don't even have to ask that question.
Looking at her mother, huh?
Margaret. Jay Wright might have something to say about that now.
Jay's, to be honest with you, Jay's been great to her.
He has, yeah.
When she first got there, he invited her and Mara to, they had a big tailgate and introduced her to a lot of people. And the thing about Villanova, it's really hard to get tickets to the game.
I'll bet.
The home arena only seats 6,500, and they could probably easily get 12 or 13. So it's like a lottery for the students. And he says, we'll take care of you. I mean, I've known Jay for a long time.
Good man.
He's really nice to her.
Yeah, good coach, heck of a guy.
Yeah.
Can you give us another question from the audience here at the Edgewater Bar and Grill, Coach? Can you give us a little insight into your 2 new recruits who you recently signed?
Yeah, I recently went and saw Desante Bowen up in New England. He's really talented, 6'3" guard, kind of can play the point, can play the 2, can make threes, get his own shot, really crafty. Rebounds, defends. I mean, he is a big time recruit for us. And Josh Dix, I just love his game. He's 6'5", he's probably about 200 pounds, makes threes, makes plays, really has tremendous feel. Both of these guys really know how to play the game. Josh has some toughness. He can play the point, he can play the 2, he can play the 3 because he rebounds, but he's really a phenomenal passer. And both of them can score, so I think they'll be excellent for us for many years.
He's out of Council Bluffs.
Yeah. Iowa kid. He's #1 rated player in the state.
Terrific.
A couple questions for me, Coach. Philip Rebracha, how'd you get him here? And to me, just watching him battle the other night, it's like the heart and soul of the team. He gives you everything.
He was tremendous, and has been keeps getting better. Incredible worker, really assimilated well. You think about it, he came over from Serbia, went to school at North Dakota, decided to put his name in the portal, and we needed a front court guy that kind of would fit our style, and so he was in a group of 3 or 4 guys we were looking at, and felt like he just stood out. I mean, we connected with him on the phone, with his family, and just felt like this was the guy. And just thrilled with his development. He works. He's tough. He's smart. Really gets along well with the guys on the team. They love him from the first day he got here.
He had some huge offensive rebounds there on the stretch drive the other night.
Yeah, he's kind of relentless, but again, you know, he's really good at guarding ball screens. He's really good in transition. He can go off the dribble and make shots. He can play in the low post. He's got toughness. But, you know, when you grow up over there, that's a real basketball environment. His father played in the NBA, and so I talked to him a few times throughout the process. And so, you know, they were looking for the right situation. I mean, he's a guy that has versatility, so he wanted to go somewhere where we were going to get it and go, and he was going to be able to dribble it and pass it and shoot it and drive it. And because ultimately he wants to, you know, play for money somewhere if it's not here, overseas, you know, back home, whatever. So just you know, kind of a zero maintenance guy. Just kind of shows up, does his work, and goes home.
Those are the best kind.
Yeah.
We're going to work in our final break of the night here on Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery, and we'll come back to wrap up this inaugural program. Fans get my new favorite Hawkeye shirt with the Authentic Brand label, the Corey by Authentic Brand. Stylish half-zip, features butter-soft scuba knit performance fabric. Visit one of our fine retailers near you or order online at authentic-brand.com for fast delivery. Authentic Brand, a great Iowa company headed up by Clark Fessler and the crew over in Perry. Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery is also brought to you by Iowa Corn. And throughout the Iowa Corn Cyhawk series, Iowa Corn promotes honest, hard-working values that are uniquely Iowan. On behalf of Iowa's corn farmers, we salute all fans and athletes for their hard work and determination to be the best both to be the best both on and off the field. Just like our top athletes, our state leads the nation in corn and ethanol production. Follow Iowa Corn and learn how corn grows Iowa. And this is Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency with Coach McCaffery from Learfield.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer. IRC Beer, beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
After a cancer diagnosis, it's natural to want to start treatment right away. But first, get a second opinion from a team that specializes in your cancer. I'm Dr. George Weiner, Director of University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you start treatment, you deserve to be confident you have the right diagnosis and know every option available to you. So whether it's with us or somewhere else, get a second opinion. It can change your care and your life.
When you set up a savings goal with U.S. Bank, it grows with you. There's no limit to what you can crochet. Can do. Doesn't have to be crocheting, but it totally could be. Like the headphones you're listening to this ad with, you could totally crochet those. There's no telling where your savings goal will take you. Maybe you'll save enough for yarn to crochet your house or the whole town. Oh, right. Doesn't have to be crochet related.
Set up savings goals on the U.S. Bank mobile app, even for the wildest of dreams. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Anything can happen when the Cyclones and Hawkeyes come to compete. It's where the rubber meets the road. Neighbors become rivals and friends become foes. Some go home broken-hearted, while others are victorious. When the dust finally settles, one thing stands true. No matter which side you're on, you're part of tradition for those who are Iowan through and through. We're Iowa Corn, a proud sponsor of the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series. In Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa.
When you build a network locally engineered for the home team, you know how important a strong connection is on game day. So you give every fan in town access to 5G at no extra charge. Now, when you switch to US Cellular, you can get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Join the nationwide network built from your town up and stay connected to your home team with US Cellular 5G. Switch today and get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Terms apply. 5G not available everywhere. See uscellular.com for details.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly transformed Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center. Located in the heart of the Iowa River Landing, walking distance to Extreme Arena, home of the Iowa Hawkeyes volleyball team, as well as some great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency is the new home of Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery this fall. Come find your place at Hyatt Regency, where we care for people so they can be their best.
Hawkeyes shot 53.5% against Virginia the other night as we welcome you back to Hawk Talk with Iowa coach Fran McCaffery. Bobby Hansen also joining us tonight. Iowa at Purdue will be on the air at 7. Tip-off at 8 Friday night. The Hawks and number 2 ranked Purdue both undefeated. And then football, the Big Ten championship game Saturday afternoon from Lucas Oil Field in Indianapolis. The Hawks and the Michigan Wolverines. Our pregame coverage starts at 5 o'clock. Coach, you were just talking about Josh Dix a moment ago. Eric in Council Bluffs, also from Council Bluffs, would like to know, how do you rotate who has the scout for each opponent game to game?
Well, we rotate 3 guys, so it's basically every third game you would get. But if, for example, Kirk has had a certain team, he'll keep that team even though it doesn't fall into the rotation. Like Billy Taylor's had Purdue, and he coached against Purdue when he was at Ball State, so he knows Purdue. Kirk had Virginia the last 2 times we played them, same coach, so he did a really good job the other night. Indeed. I thought, Kirk. So if it's a new team, we'll just rotate it based on convenience. But we try to lock into, for example, if you've had Matt Painter a lot of times, you tend to, you think about if you've had him for 8 straight years and you're playing him twice a year, you're watching, 18 games a year for 8 years, you're going to have pretty good knowledge of what they do.
Indeed. Sue in Cascade. Coach, what was your most memorable win as a player?
I would say it was kind of weird because we, in the Ivy League in those days, this was my senior year, so we want to get the NCAA tournament. To get to the NCAA tournament in the Ivy League in those days, you had to win the regular season championship. There was no conference tournament. They started one about 5 or 6 years ago. They never had one in the Ivy League. So you had to have the best record in the regular season. That's the team that represented your conference in the NCAA tournament. So we wanted to go to the NCAA tournament. So my senior year with a 1-game lead with 2 games left, we won on Friday night, which didn't seal it completely because we had to play the other team on Saturday. Mm-hmm. But very rewarding game because we had to fight. We won. Felt like we were going to win the league, go to the tournament, and then we found out that Princeton had beaten Columbia. And we actually found out on the bus. We were sitting on the bus, okay, you're going to the tournament because now you have a 2-game lead with 1 game left.
Yeah.
But we had to have the right mindset going on the road, win that game to make sure we were going to go to the NCAA tournament.
Who'd you beat?
We beat Cornell that night.
Cornell.
Then we played St. John's in the first round with Chris Mullen.
Oh.
It was a heck of a game. We almost beat him, but lost.
Did you guard him?
No, I played the point. He was really he would play more of a small forward.
Yeah.
Mark Jackson was not on that team. Bill Wennington was on that team.
Yeah. Bill Wennington. That's a pretty good team that the little Lou had.
Yeah, they had a good team.
Bobby, we got about a minute left.
Well, it doesn't do not enough time to do it justice, but the improvement of Aaron Eulis, Tony Perkins, they come in almost sometimes as a tandem and really change the complexion of the game.
Yeah, they both played well the other night. They gave us great minutes, gave us great energy. They both can score. Great basket cut, both of them. The first time Connor hit Aaron Eulis, and the second time Keegan hit Tony Perkins. When they were pressing up on us in their pack line, they both made great cuts. And it was an offensive rebound kick from Connor to Aaron Eulis. It was a great cut, great read by him. Yeah.
Coach, all the best at Purdue. We'll see you over there at Mackey Arena. A tough place to play, but it's a great basketball environment.
Great basketball venue. It'll be really crowded. I mean, I was asked today, do you think some of the Hawk fans will show up because they're heading down that way? And I no doubt that they would. but you can't get any tickets. So
secondary market.
I've had a few calls.
Secondary market is the way to go.
Check those numbers.
They're only
out.
$400 or $500 a piece. Because those people also know.
There'll be some obnoxious Hawks fans there.
You know it.
That's the way we like it.
They're the best.
Yeah,
thanks,
that's the way we
man.
like it.
Yeah, it's great start here at the Hyatt Regency in the Edgewater Bar and Grill. We'll be back next week again. Join us for Iowa-Purdue Friday night from Mackey Arena. 7 o'clock for the pregame show, 8 o'clock for the tip-off. I'm Gary Dolphin. Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody, on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Good night.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield, this has been Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.